people don't chase what they already own. Let that sink in for a moment, my friends, because that single line exposes one of the biggest lies we've been taught about attraction. You've probably heard it 1,000 times. If you show them love, if you're patient, if you're always available, they'll appreciate you. But guess what? The truth is the complete opposite. The more available you are, the less valuable you become in their eyes. It's human psychology, not cruelty. We value what requires effort. We crave what we might lose. We chase what feels just out of reach. Now, before we dive in, do me a favor, press that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and stay with me till the end, because what I'm about to share with you might just change how you move forever. Hey folks, imagine this. You're walking into a candy store. The shelves are stacked high with every flavor imaginable, all within reach, all cheap, all endless. You take one, you enjoy it for a moment, but it doesn't hit the same after a while. Now imagine there's one rare bar behind the glass counter, limited edition, wrapped in gold, only a few left in the world. Suddenly, that's the one you want. You don't even know if it tastes better, but your mind convinces you it's special. That's how chase works. It's not about sweetness, it's about scarcity, it's about perceived worth. You see, most people are taught to chase approval, to prove their value through over-giving, over-explaining, over-trying. They text first, they wait anxiously, they rearrange their schedule for someone who doesn't even respect their time. And every time they do it, they unknowingly send one dangerous signal: you don't have to earn me. But my friends, nothing valuable is ever free. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good person should be. Be one." In relationships, it's the same. Stop arguing for your worth. Embody it. Don't chase what doesn't meet you halfway. Become someone whose silence speaks louder than any plea for attention. And let's be real for a second. It's not easy. When someone pulls away, your instinct screams, "Do something, fix it." You feel the panic rise, like watching a boat drift away that once carried your heart. But here's the truth. Chasing doesn't bring them closer. It pushes them further. The more you reach, the more they retreat. Because deep down, people fear losing what they had to earn, not what was handed to them. So here's the shift. Stop being the open buffet. Start being the fine dining experience. Stop offering discounts on your energy. You're not a clearance item. You're the limited edition they'll regret losing. Every time you stay composed instead of begging for attention, every time you prioritize your peace over panic, every time you choose silence over emotional chaos, you rise in value. That's how you make them chase, not through games, but through gravity. Because true attraction isn't built on desperation, it's built on depth. When your energy says, "I know my worth," the world adjusts to match it. When your actions say, "I don't chase, I attract," even the ones who underestimated you start to notice. They feel your absence like oxygen thinning in the room. So write this in the comments right now. I am worth the chase. Say it again, feel it. Because the moment you start believing that, the game changes. You stop begging to be chosen and start choosing yourself. Stay with me, because what's coming next will show you the exact psychology behind why people chase, and how to make your energy so magnetic they can't help but move toward you. 3 words to end this moment. Know your worth. Number 1, the real trigger behind the chase. People don't fall for perfection. They fall for contrast, the light and the dark that keeps them guessing. My friends, that line might sting a little, but it's the truth most people run from. Because deep down, everyone wants to be loved for being good, kind, available, and giving. They think if they're understanding enough, patient enough, if they show how loyal and ready they are, then surely the other person will see their worth and chase them. But here's the hard truth: that's not how attraction works. Being endlessly available doesn't make them fall for you. It numbs them. It makes them see you as safe, predictable, and sadly replaceable. Imagine this. You walk into a room and there's a fire burning in the fireplace. The flames dance, crackle, light up the room with warmth. You feel drawn to it. You move closer, mesmerized. But if you stayed too long, if the fire stopped flickering and just turned into a steady, unchanging glow, your attention would fade. That's how human psychology works. We are wired to chase movement, to be intrigued by rhythm, to crave what shifts between warmth and space. And this is where so many people fall into emotional exhaustion. They try to be the steady glow, always there, always understanding, never pulling back, never leaving mystery. They think consistency means availability 24/7. They confuse loyalty with self-sacrifice. But what they don't realize is that this constant giving doesn't create safety. It creates boredom. And boredom kills attraction faster than rejection ever could. Maybe you've asked yourself, why do they chase the one who treats them like an option, but ignore the one who treats them right? It's not fair, is it? It feels twisted, almost cruel. You start questioning your worth, thinking, maybe I'm not exciting enough. Maybe I need to play games, but that's where you go wrong. It's not about games, it's about understanding contrast. People crave what feels valuable, not what feels guaranteed. When everything about you is predictable, there's no reason for their mind to stay alert. The chase ends the moment certainty begins. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The obstacle is the way." What does that mean here? It means that a little challenge, the right kind, doesn't block connection, it builds it. Because challenge signals value. Effort creates attachment. It's how the mind justifies desire. When they have to earn your time, your attention, your trust, their brain tells them, this must matter. But when it's given too freely, that same brain whispers, if it's this easy, it must not be that valuable. And yet, most people can't stop overgiving. Why? Fear. The fear of losing someone, the fear of being misunderstood, the fear of silence. That fear makes them chase validation instead of connection. They panic when there's space. They try to fill the silence with texts, calls, explanations, anything to prove their worth. But every time they do that, they send a message. You don't have to work for me. And the moment that message is received, the chase dies. Think about it. If every time they pull away, you chase. If every time they go silent, you reach out. If every time they give you crumbs, you accept them gratefully. What are you teaching them? You're teaching them that your value is flexible, that your boundaries can be bent, that your time can be interrupted at any moment. You think you're keeping them close, but you're actually pushing them further because you've removed the thrill of earning you. This doesn't mean you become cold or cruel. That's another lie people believe, that you have to act distant, detached, or play hard to make them want you. No, real attraction isn't about pretending you don't care. It's about showing that you care about yourself first. It's about having standards so clear that they have to rise to meet you. It's about knowing your worth so deeply that you never have to prove it through begging, convincing, or chasing. Let me tell you this, the people who are truly chased are not the loudest in the room. They're the calm ones, the ones who can walk away from what doesn't serve them, the ones who don't explain why they're pulling back. They simply do. Their silence is not a punishment. It's a reflection of self-control. Their distance is not manipulation, it's alignment. When they start to feel your absence, not because you're punishing them, but because you've returned your energy to yourself, that's when the chase begins. The human brain associates loss with urgency. It starts replaying memories, questioning decisions, and seeking resolution. Suddenly, your silence echoes louder than your presence ever did. That's power. That's psychology. But let's be honest, it's not easy. It takes courage to stop chasing. It takes faith to sit in silence when your heart wants to scream. It takes strength to stay still when your fear says, "Do something." This is where Stoicism comes in, the art of emotional control, of mastering your reactions, of understanding that your value doesn't rise or fall with someone else's attention. As Epictetus said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." The fear of losing them feels bigger than the reality of losing them. But in truth, what you're really losing is your peace every time you chase. So let's break the lie right now. Love doesn't require you to shrink. Attraction doesn't require you to overgive. Respect doesn't require you to explain your worth. What truly makes people chase is the realization that your energy is not guaranteed, that your time is earned, that your presence is a privilege, not a possession. When you finally understand that, everything changes. You stop reacting, you start observing, you stop chasing, you start attracting, you stop begging for attention, you start commanding it without saying a word. You walk differently. You talk differently, you even breathe differently, because your energy has shifted from fear to faith. So write this in the comments right now. I don't chase, I attract. Show it to yourself, show it to the world around you, because that sentence isn't just a trend, it's the truth. It's a declaration that you've stopped being available to those who don't value you and started being magnetic to those who do. And stay with me, because what's coming next will take this even deeper. I'll show you how to embody authentic unavailability, not as a game, but as a lifestyle. You'll see exactly how to create the kind of energy that doesn't beg for attention, it commands it. Number 2, authentic unavailability, busy, not playing. Your absence teaches what your presence never could. That line, my friends, is pure gold because it holds one of the biggest secrets in attraction psychology. See, most people think the way to make someone want them more is to pretend to be busy. They wait a few hours to reply. They act like they have plans. They copy what they saw in a dating video. But pretending is just that, pretending. And energy never lies. The person on the other end can feel the difference between someone who's genuinely living a full, purpose-driven life and someone who's just sitting there, refreshing their phone, waiting for a text that never comes. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine a garden full of wildflowers. Bees are drawn to it, not because the flowers chase them, but because they exist in fullness. They bloom regardless of who comes or goes. They don't shrink when ignored, and they don't overbloom for attention. Their beauty is their boundary. That's how you need to live. Blooming with purpose, rooted in your own soil, not chasing validation from passing bees. But here's where many get stuck. They hear, be unavailable, and they think it means be cold. They think detachment means indifference. No, folks. Authentic unavailability isn't about shutting people out. It's about making your life so full, so aligned with your own goals, habits, passions, and standards that no one person becomes your sole source of joy or distraction. You stop waiting for a message because you've got things to build, places to go, people to connect with, and a mind to master. You want to know why this kind of energy is magnetic? Because humans are drawn to momentum. We're fascinated by people who are in motion, who have a life. The moment you stop orbiting around someone else's attention, your value rises. Your silence becomes mysterious, your time becomes precious, and your energy becomes something to earn. Think about it this way. If you were available every time they called, if you dropped everything the moment they texted, what are you teaching them? That their schedule matters more than yours, that you have nothing better to do, that your world stops spinning unless they show up. And once that happens, they subconsciously start devaluing your time, because what costs nothing is treated like nothing. But when they realize they have to earn your attention, when they see you prioritizing your growth, your goals, your peace, their instincts shift. Suddenly, your attention feels like a prize again. They start wondering where you are, what you're doing, and why you're not immediately available. That curiosity reignites their chase. Still, let's be honest, being authentically unavailable can be uncomfortable at first, especially if you've been a giver your whole life. You might feel guilty for saying no, anxious when you don't reply right away, or worried they'll think you don't care. That's just your old conditioning talking, the part of you that believed you had to earn love by being overly available. But you don't. You earn love by being yourself, by showing that your life has depth and direction. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." That's what this step is about, mastering yourself enough to know when to give and when to pause. You're not ignoring people to make them suffer. You're simply choosing not to abandon yourself for temporary attention. That's strength. That's Stoic detachment in action. So the next time your phone buzzes and you feel that rush of excitement, take a breath. Ask yourself, am I replying because I want to, or because I'm afraid they'll lose interest if I don't? If it's fear, pause, because real connection doesn't vanish in a few hours of silence, and anyone who loses interest that quickly was never really interested. They were just entertained. Authentic unavailability doesn't push people away, it filters them. The ones who only wanted convenience will disappear, but the ones who respect you will step up. They'll plan ahead. They'll match your energy. They'll value your presence, because it's rare, not random. So fill your days. Go for that workout, finish that project, call that friend, learn that skill, take that walk, live. Because when your life is already full, love becomes an addition, not a necessity. And the moment someone realizes you're happy with or without them, that's when they start chasing you. So here's what I want you to write in the comments right now. My life is full. Say it like a declaration, because when your life is full, your energy changes. You stop begging for time and start choosing where to give it. You stop chasing attention and start attracting respect. Show yourself what it looks like to be genuinely occupied with your purpose. Show the world that you don't need to play games to be desired. You just need to live with intention, because true unavailability isn't about making them wait. It's about showing that your life doesn't. Stay with me, my friends, because what's coming next will take this even deeper. We're going to talk about how earned intimacy works and why making someone work for emotional closeness doesn't push them away. It bonds them to you in ways you can't imagine. Number 3, earned intimacy make deeper access conditional. Don't hand them the treasure map before they've proven they can handle the gold. That's the quote, my friends, and it cuts deep because too many people are out here giving away emotional, physical, and mental access to people who haven't done a thing to earn it. They hand over loyalty, vulnerability, and time like free samples at a grocery store, hoping that one day someone will finally appreciate it. But that's not how human psychology works. People don't value what they don't earn. They only cherish what they've had to reach for, struggle for, and prove themselves worthy of. Imagine this. You walk into a theme park and someone says, "Hey, the roller coaster's open. No ticket, no line, just hop in. You ride it once, it's fun, and then that's it. You move on." Now imagine the same ride with a long line, limited seats, people waiting eagerly, the sound of excitement building in the air. Suddenly, that same ride feels thrilling. Why? Because effort built anticipation. The wait created worth. The chase made the experience meaningful. That's how earned intimacy works. The more effort someone invests, the more they value what they receive. But here's the trap. Most people think giving more will make someone stay. They think if they're more available, more affectionate, more open, they'll finally be enough. That's the lie. Giving everything too soon doesn't secure a bond. It suffocates desire. You're not rewarding effort, you're replacing it. You're removing the very reason their brain wants to chase, the challenge, the mystery, the curiosity. See, the brain is wired to attach value to effort. It's called the investment principle. When we invest time, energy, or emotion into something, we begin to justify that investment by convincing ourselves it's special. But when you give them full access too early, there's no investment to justify. There's no emotional reason to protect what they have, because they didn't have to climb for it. They just got it. And what's easily gotten is easily forgotten. This doesn't mean you play games or manipulate them. Stoicism isn't about deceit. It's about discipline. It's about knowing that access to your energy, your mind, your heart, and your body is sacred. Not everyone gets it. And the ones who do earn it step by step. You teach people how to treat you by what you allow. When someone's inconsistent, you don't reward it with more attention. When someone disappears and comes back, you don't greet them with open arms. You greet them with boundaries. You teach them that intimacy is a privilege, not a default setting. But here's where it gets difficult. When you've been neglected or undervalued before, withholding intimacy can feel unnatural. You want to connect. You want to prove that you're different, that you care, that you're safe. You think your openness will inspire their loyalty. But real loyalty doesn't come from exposure. It comes from respect. And respect comes from effort. Marcus Aurelius said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." If your thoughts are rooted in fear, fear of being alone, fear of being forgotten, you'll keep dyeing your actions in desperation. But when your thoughts shift toward worth, when you remind yourself, "Not everyone deserves my closeness," your energy changes. You start moving like someone who knows they are the prize, not the one chasing it. Let's get practical for a second. Earned intimacy means you scale emotional access with behavior, not chemistry. Just because the connection feels intense doesn't mean it's real. Chemistry gets people to meet. Character keeps them there. So, before you open the deepest parts of yourself, ask, have they earned this version of me? Have they shown consistency? Have they respected my boundaries? Have they proven they can handle the responsibility of my energy? If the answer is no, slow down. You're not rejecting love, you're respecting yourself. When you give too much too soon, you rob them of the satisfaction of earning your trust. You rob them of the emotional reward of knowing they built something real. But when you make them earn intimacy, something powerful happens. They start investing deeper. Their effort increases. Their emotional attachment grows. They start thinking, "I've come this far, I'm not losing this now." That's not manipulation. That's human psychology. It's how commitment is built. So, my friends, if someone hasn't earned consistency, don't give them constancy. If they haven't earned trust, don't hand over vulnerability. If they haven't shown care, don't give them comfort. The person who's meant for you won't be scared by your standards. They'll be motivated by them. Because real connection doesn't crumble under effort. It thrives on it. This is your reminder. Stop auditioning for roles you've already outgrown. You're not here to prove your worth. You're here to protect it. The right person won't run from your boundaries. They'll respect them. They'll see your calm, your patience, your composure, and realize they've met someone rare. So write this in the comments right now. My intimacy is earned, not given. Let the world see it. Let yourself feel it. Because when you treat your closeness like gold, you stop handing it to anyone walking by. You become that rare treasure, not hidden, but exclusive. And when people realize your heart isn't an open door, they start knocking with intention. Stay with me, my friends, because what's coming next is where the real fire begins. We're going to talk about the kind of standards that don't just make people notice you, they make them rise to meet you. Because when your standards are clear, the chase doesn't end, it evolves. Number 4, standards that spark competition, not jealousy. People don't rise to your words. They rise to your standards. That one hits, doesn't it, my friends? Because most people spend their lives talking about what they want, instead of living in a way that demands it. They say they want respect, but they accept inconsistency. They say they want effort, but they reward laziness. They say they want loyalty, but they tolerate half-hearted energy. And every time they do, they send a silent message. You don't have to give me more. That's how attraction fades. Not because they stopped liking you, but because you stopped requiring them to step up. Now, before we get too deep, imagine this. You're walking into a gym. On one side, there's a treadmill that moves at a slow, easy pace. No resistance, no incline. On the other side, there's a steep hill, rough terrain, challenge, sweat. Where do you think real growth happens? Not on the easy path. Never has, never will. That's how it works with people too. They value what challenges them to grow, not what lets them stay comfortable. Here's the truth they don't teach you. The right kind of challenge doesn't push people away. It draws them closer. Because in every person, there's a built-in desire to earn, to win, to achieve. It's not toxic. It's human nature. But most people confuse challenge with conflict. They think standards make them hard to deal with, when in reality, standards are the very thing that separate a connection from a convenience. See, jealousy is when you make them feel insecure. Competition is when you make them feel inspired. The first one comes from fear. The second one comes from respect. You don't have to make anyone jealous by talking about others or playing games. You just need to embody a level of focus, calm, and class that makes them realize, I need to step up if I want to keep up. But here's where people slip up. They lower their standards out of fear of losing someone. They tell themselves, maybe I'm expecting too much. No, you're not expecting too much. You're just expecting it from the wrong person. Because the right person won't be scared of your standards. They'll be excited by them. They'll see your boundaries not as walls, but as gates, something that must be opened through consistency, honesty, and effort. Let me tell you this, low standards attract confusion. High standards attract clarity. When your boundaries are clear, you don't have to explain yourself. People know where they stand, and the ones meant for you will step into alignment naturally. But when your standards keep shifting, when you say one thing but accept another, you train them to stop trying. You teach them that effort is optional. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good person should be one." The same goes for relationships. Stop arguing for the kind of love you deserve. Embody it. Stop asking for loyalty. Live loyally. Stop demanding consistency. Be consistent. Because when your life becomes a reflection of your values, you attract people who either rise to match you or leave because they can't. Both outcomes are wins. But I won't lie, having standards will test you. You'll lose people. You'll be called cold, difficult, maybe even too much, and it'll sting at first. But remember, that's not rejection, that's refinement. You're not losing love, you're losing access to chaos. The moment you stop settling for less, the wrong ones will fall away, and the right ones will feel magnetically pulled toward you. Think about it. When someone has to work for your time, your attention, your trust, they don't take it lightly. They start to protect it. They treat it with care. That's how you build depth. Not by giving everything up front, but by letting them earn it piece by piece. You become their mirror, the reflection that challenges them to be better. And that's the power of standards. They don't just filter people, they transform them. The ones who care will adapt. The ones who don't were never going to anyway. Either way, you win, because your peace stays intact. So don't apologize for your expectations. Don't shrink them to fit into someone else's comfort zone. You are not here to make everyone comfortable. You are here to live in alignment with your worth. If your standards intimidate them, it's because they're not ready to meet the version of themselves your energy demands. Let's get practical. Start small. If they cancel last minute, don't blow up or beg for reschedules. Just calmly say, "No worries, I value my time too much to keep it open for uncertainty." If they text inconsistently, match their rhythm, not out of spite, but self-respect. Let your silence speak where words would sound like begging. That silence is your standard in action. Write this in the comments right now. My standards are my power, because they are. They're not rules meant to isolate you. They're boundaries meant to elevate you. Every time you enforce them, you remind the world that your energy is not for rent. It's earned. And stay with me, because in the next part, we're taking it one step further. I'm going to show you how to control the emotional rhythm of any connection, not by force, but by calibration. You'll learn the art of mirroring energy, and how that subtle shift flips the dynamic completely in your favor. Number 5. Emotional calibration. Mirror, then rise above. Power is not in reacting first, it's in knowing when not to. That, my friends, is the heart of emotional mastery, and the secret behind why some people are unforgettable while others fade quietly into the noise. Most people think attraction is about what you do to win someone over. But true magnetism comes from what you don't do when your emotions are tested. The ability to stay calm when they pull away, silent when they provoke you, grounded when they try to make you chase, that's real control. That's the kind of energy that doesn't beg for respect. It commands it. Imagine standing in front of a still lake. Throw a rock into it and you see ripples spreading out in perfect circles. Now imagine standing in front of a stormy sea, waves crashing, chaotic, unpredictable. Which one can reflect your face clearly? The lake, of course, because stillness creates reflection. That's exactly how emotional calibration works. The calmer you remain when they act unpredictable, the clearer your value becomes. You become the mirror that reveals who they are, not through arguments, but through composure. Here's where most people lose themselves. When the other person starts to pull back, they panic. When communication slows, they start chasing. When energy shifts, they try to fix it, and in doing so, they destroy the very thing that created attraction in the first place: mystery and contrast. The more predictable you become in your reactions, the less valuable your energy feels. You train them to believe that your attention is always available, no matter how they behave. And once that belief sets in, the chase ends. But Stoic attraction, the kind that drives them wild in silence, is about balance. It's about matching their energy without losing your center. You mirror to reflect awareness, not insecurity. When they go quiet, you don't rush in to fill the silence. You mirror it with your own. When they become distant, you don't pull them closer out of fear. You give them the space they seem to want, not out of punishment, but out of principle. This isn't playing games, it's teaching emotional responsibility. You're saying without words, if you want connection, meet me halfway. If you withdraw, I will too, not out of anger, but respect. That's how emotionally grounded people communicate, not through lectures or guilt, but through calibrated energy. Think about it. When someone feels like they can predict your reaction, there's no curiosity left. But when you stay unpredictable in your peace, when you choose silence over begging, detachment over drama, you force their mind to engage again. You awaken curiosity. You make them question, did I lose their interest? Did I mess this up? That's when they start chasing again, not because you manipulated them, but because you stopped rewarding their inconsistency. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. Most people do the opposite. They try to control outcomes instead of emotions. They try to manage someone else's behavior instead of mastering their own. But when you switch your focus inward, when you stop asking, "Why are they pulling away?" and start asking, "Why am I reacting?" everything changes. You regain the upper hand not by force, but by calm dominance. But let's be honest, it's not easy. When someone you care about goes distant, your body reacts before your logic does. Your mind starts racing. You replay conversations, overanalyze texts, and your self-worth starts shaking. That's normal. You're human. But this is where Stoic discipline comes in. You take that emotion, you feel it fully, and you choose not to act from it. You remind yourself, their silence is not my cue to panic. Instead, it's your cue to pause, observe, and mirror. That small pause, that moment between emotion and reaction, is where attraction is either made or broken. If you can master that moment, you win. Because it's not about ignoring them, it's about prioritizing your peace first. When you stop reacting emotionally, you stop giving them the power to control your state. You teach them that your calm is not negotiable. And here's the twist. The moment you stop chasing, they start wondering. When you don't react to their inconsistency, you trigger something called loss aversion. The human mind hates losing what it once had. When they realize your attention is no longer guaranteed, it forces reflection. They start thinking, wait, why aren't they reacting? Did I lose my hold? Did I overplay my hand? That's when the chase begins again. But let's be real. Emotional calibration isn't about manipulation. It's about maturity. It's the ability to choose stillness in chaos, to show that your peace is not dependent on their behavior. Because when your energy stops fluctuating with someone else's inconsistency, they see you differently. You stop being an option. You become a benchmark. You become the calm they crave but can't easily access. So, write this in the comments right now. My peace is power. Show yourself that you can stay still in the storm. Show the world that your calm can't be provoked, because the moment you master that, you become the mirror. And everyone is drawn to their own reflection in your stillness. Stay with me, my friends, because what's coming next will take you deeper into Stoic mastery. We're about to talk about outcome independence, the quiet confidence that makes you irresistible, untouchable, and completely free from needing anyone to validate your worth. Number 6. Outcome independence, want without need. Freedom is wanting nothing and valuing everything. That, my friends, is the mindset that separates those who chase love from those who attract it. See, most people move through relationships like gamblers in a casino, betting their peace, their time, their identity, all on the outcome of whether someone chooses them back. They tie their happiness to how quickly the phone lights up, how often the messages come through, how much effort the other person gives. And when it slows down, they spiral. They start panicking, overthinking, overanalyzing, trying to fix something that was never theirs to control in the first place. But Stoicism, real, grounded, unshakable Stoicism, teaches the opposite. It teaches that peace is not found in controlling outcomes. It's found in controlling yourself. It's found in showing up with open hands instead of clenched fists. It's knowing that you can want connection deeply but not need it to feel whole. Because the moment you need someone to behave a certain way for you to feel good, you've handed them the remote control to your emotions. And once you do that, you're no longer free, you're dependent. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine holding sand in your palm. If you clutch it too tightly, it slips through your fingers. But if you hold it gently, it stays. That's how attraction works. The tighter you grip, the quicker it fades. But when you're relaxed, grounded, and focused on your own life, your presence becomes magnetic. You stop chasing validation, and suddenly people start chasing your energy instead. Now, I know what you're thinking, but what if I lose them? My friend, you never lose what's truly aligned with you. You just release what was temporary. What's meant for you doesn't need to be begged for, manipulated, or convinced. You don't have to perform for real connection. You simply have to be. And the right person will recognize it without you having to sell it. The hard part? Detaching from what you want while still allowing yourself to want it. That's the paradox of Stoic love, learning to desire with grace. It's not coldness, it's maturity. It's being able to say, I would love to have this person in my life, but my peace is not up for negotiation. Because every time you choose peace over panic, you send a message to the universe and to yourself. I am enough, even if they don't choose me. Epictetus once said, don't explain your philosophy, embody it. That means stop saying you're strong, be strong. Stop saying you're detached, live detached. Stop saying you're high value, move like it. Because energy doesn't lie. You can't fake outcome independence. You either have it or you don't. And when you do, people feel it. They sense that your world doesn't crumble if they walk away. They sense that your happiness doesn't rely on their next message. And that stability, that calm, it's intoxicating. But let's talk truth. Outcome independence doesn't mean indifference. It doesn't mean pretending not to care. It means caring deeply, but not losing yourself in the process. It means you can love someone and still walk away if it stops being mutual. It means you can be hopeful, but not helpless. You're not playing games, you're playing guarded. You're emotionally available, but spiritually untouchable. Here's the beauty of it. Once you truly embody this energy, life starts reflecting it back to you. You stop chasing people who aren't ready. You stop begging for clarity. You stop overthinking silence. You simply allow. You understand that rejection is redirection, that endings are beginnings, and that every loss carries a lesson. When you live like that, you don't chase validation. you attract respect. Think about how peaceful it would feel to stop checking your phone for reassurance, to stop tying your self-worth to someone's mood, to wake up in the morning and know that no matter who comes or goes, your day, your focus, your purpose remains untouched. That's power. That's not detachment from love. That's detachment from control. And when you master that, you become untouchable. So let me ask you this. What would your life look like if you stopped obsessing over what might happen and started living in what is? What if instead of chasing, you started creating? What if instead of waiting for someone to show up, you started showing up for yourself? Because the moment you do, something shifts. You stop attracting confusion and start attracting clarity. You stop attracting chaos and start attracting calm. You stop attracting people who test your boundaries and start attracting those who honor them. So, my friends, write this in the comments right now. I release control. Say it with intention. Say it as a declaration to yourself and to the universe. Because when you release control, you regain power. You stop living reactively and start living intentionally. You stop waiting to be chosen and start choosing yourself every single day. And before you go, if this message hits something inside you, if it reminds you of your worth, your strength, your calm, press that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Because we're building a community here, a movement of grounded, high-value people who no longer chase love, they embody it. Remember this, my friends, peace isn't found when everything goes your way. Peace is found when nothing can take it away. Stay strong, stay calm, stay free.